Call to order this regular meeting of the Monument Town Council, Monday, June 16th, 2025. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Simpson, will you take roll?
Absolutely. Councilmember Chronic.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem King.
Here.
Councilmember Abbott. Here. Councilmember Figueredo.
Here.
Mayor LaKind.
Here.
And Councilmember Kimple.
Here. Okay. Did anybody submit any disclosures of conflicts of interest to our town attorney? Okay. And before us, we have a consent agenda. I do have questions on one of these. Anybody else have any questions or comments about the consent agenda? Okay, so my question is related to the contract for the chip seal. I did not see language that indicated in the contract that it was not to exceed the dollar amount. Maybe I missed it.
Good evening, Council. No, we did not add that in there, but it is not to exceed $100,000 in the contract that we have budgeted for. They have budgeted for $98,416, but we do have a contingency of 2% to make sure they do not pass the $100,000. But I did not have that added in there, not to exceed.
I think the instructions from council were that all contracts needed a not to exceed statement with a number. So do we have a date that this needs to be signed by?
No, we have not got them on their schedule yet, so we can go back and adjust that.
Okay, so I would like to modify the consent agenda to remove resolution 39, 2025 to give staff the opportunity to adjust the contract language to, if the not to exceed is that 100,000, because that's your contingency, then let's bake that into the language.
Yes, sir, will do.
Thank you. Any other modifications or comments related to the consent agenda? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented and approve the consent agenda, removing item C.
Second.
A motion and a second. Everybody vote. Oh, it showed up. All right, that motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Okay, first up, we have a discussion item. We're going to interview candidates seeking town council appointment for our empty seat that we have. We had one candidate. Mr. Smith, if you would like to put yourself up in front of the firing squad so that we can pepper you with questions.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff. I am here to answer your questions.
Anybody on council would like to ask Mr. Smith some questions as to his candidacy for this open seat.
So, hi, Mr. Smith.
Hi,
How are you?
Councilmember Abbott.
Um, why did you want to apply to fill this role? What appeals to you about it?
So I've been serving on the planning commission now for 2 years. When the vacancy came up, as you guys may know, I ran back last election as well. Ended up running against Jim. Wasn't really the plan, but things worked out the way that they did. And I just have a heart to serve. And I would like to see the council to continue to function the way it has in the last few years. That's very important to me.
Thank you.
How, Mr. Smith, how's the planning commission prepared you for this role?
Oh, well, the planning commission has given me a ton of experience with understanding land use, taught me how to kind of navigate the code, and doing research on certain projects. Yeah. Added some leadership skills as well, I would say.
Yeah, you were chair for a short period,
One meeting.
but
So
you
yeah,
were
so
voted into that position.
and it's, you know, you bring up the planning commission, but it's actually a great concern of mine because the planning commission has been, I hope that you guys feel has been running pretty efficiently and effectively and getting better. I moved this year to the vice chair position, and then chair unfortunately had to step back. Didn't resign the commission, but had to step back a little bit from the role. So I stepped into the chair position for one meeting. This month's meeting was canceled. So yeah, so that was a good experience, and it was good to have the support of the other planning commissioners as well.
Thank you. That's all I have, really. I've seen you in action.
Mr. Smith, what would be your top 3 priorities if given this opportunity to serve on the town council?
Top 3 priorities would be, as I said, number 1 is to, I think, maintain the course that the council has been on, with all the seated members present. I think it's a vast difference from the prior boards or prior board of trustees. Second would be to emphasize responsible growth. That means minding rezonings, those sorts of things that affect the community as a whole. The third thing would be to go down and super impressed with the financial stability and how our finance director now has kind of get things, the ship righted, if you will. And I'd like to make sure that that stays on track as well.
I have one concern. If you were to be on this council, I would become the lowest ranking person that ever served in the Navy out of 3 of us here. And I'm wondering how that's going. No, I'm just kidding.
So I'm glad you bring that up. I think we've maxed out on Navy, so I think he's automatically disqualified. I
Oh,
was gonna ask for a legal review. I'm just.
so Councilmember Fiorito, if I may, I'm actually an Air Force brat, and my son-in-law is also active duty Air Force right now. So hopefully that works.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll let it slide this time.
And as the last person to speak, I will ask you the same question that I got asked when I was in the position you were standing in today. Will you shave your head?
Absolutely not.
That was the only question?
That's it.
That's it.
You were asked if you would.
Yes, you people asked me that.
You people.
Yeah. But you, no. Thank you.
Yes, that was part of our job classification was we were looking for a balding attorney. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I do. And it's directed towards Dan. I'm sorry. Mr. Yeah. Do you have a recommendation coming from that you're going to lose someone from the planning commission to come up to the town council? with this, with,
Do I have a recommendation?
yeah, it's just can't,
I'm gonna miss him at Plan Commission, but he's leaving the group or the team in good condition. I know we've got some other leaders that can that will succeed in that role as well. But and he's going to do really well with you and working with the community and representing the community. He's been working with the comprehensive plan through his efforts at the steering committee and others. So, I mean, as I said, we'll miss him at the Plan Commission level, but we know he'll still be working for the community at the town council level if you bring him up.
okay, thank you.
If I could real quick, just to tack on to what Councilmember Kimple said, like take the opportunity to put that call out. So we have plenty of opportunity to serve your community. We've been short 2 alternates, and those of you who know me on social media know I post it now and then on several of the town groups that we needed alternates, and now unfortunately we need 2 alternates and we need a sitting member as well. So and anyone that's listening or present, if you've thought about serving, it's a commitment of 1 meeting a month. Sometimes we'll have joint meetings with the council, and the service doesn't go unnoticed, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Which is, as you said, I mean, and sometimes in this town, we get shorthanded on volunteers. And, you know, it is a bit disappointing that we don't have 5 people standing there on the one hand. On the other hand, you're very well qualified for this role, and you've been very involved in this town, and you've been doing a lot with the Planning Commission, and that says a lot. And you know, your integrity is right up there too. So
Thank you.
I mean, I'm glad if there's one, I'm glad you're the one, right? So
Could always be worse.
thanks for signing up. We need volunteers for sure.
We really do. Yep.
When is the next planning commission meeting scheduled for?
It'll be the third Wednesday in July, or second one on July 7th.
11th, or sorry,
And
July 9th.
9th,
Yeah.
July 9th. I'm glad I didn't post notice yet. July 9th. And we actually, I was bringing a potential appointment to you tonight, but because Chad was going to be standing before you, I thought it would be best for us to wait to bring that resident before you at your next council meeting for a potential appointment to Plan Commission as a regular member. So we could be full, back up and full and running by the next Plan Commission meeting.
Nice.
Great. Okay, well, expect that I'll show up to that meeting, the July 9th. Just
Excellent.
say some
Thank you.
words to the planning commission, thank them. Okay, well, if there's no other questions or comments for staff or Mr. Smith, I believe we have a resolution in our packet. If somebody wants to make a motion for Mr. Smith to join the council, is staff prepared to administer an oath? And is staff prepared to provide him a login ID? Okay.
I move to approve resolution number 42, 2025, a resolution appointing Mr. Smith, Chad, council member at large to fill the vacancy for the town of Monument.
Second,
We have a motion and a second.
Sorry, was that allowed?
Hot mic.
Hot mic.
Sorry.
Hot mic.
Attention.
Oh, that motion passes 6-0. Mr. Chad Smith, welcome to the Monument Town Council.
yes, welcome.
If you She has a 4-year enlistment contract.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Chad Smith,
I, Chad Smith,
affirm that I will support
affirm that I will support
the United States Constitution,
the United States Constitution,
the Colorado Constitution,
the Colorado Constitution,
the Town of Monument Charter,
the Town of Monument Charter,
and the ordinances of the town,
and the ordinances of the town,
and I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of council member at large,
of the office of council member at large,
upon which I am about to enter to the best of my ability.
on which I am about to enter to the best of my ability.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take 5 minutes so that the technology can be arranged. So I'm looking at 2 potential volunteers for the planning commission. Right.
See that man right over there? Sign you up.
Actually, you're now part of the Village Center Metro District, so that precludes you. Oh, actually, you can be on the planning commission. You just can't be here.
That's not elected, is it?
Okay, in case you haven't noticed, Councilmember Kimball's been replaced by 2 Boy Scouts. It's a 2 for 1. Oh. There's a lot of Navy in here. Okay, next up, Resolution 40, 2025, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Wilden Financial Services for consultant services to conduct cost allocation plan and fee study. Ms. Phillips
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Town Council.
and Boy Scouts.
I'm Boy Scouts. Hello. No tough questions though, right? So I'm your finance director, Jennifer Phillips, and normally this would be on the consent calendar, but we wanted to bring it before you tonight, 2 of these items, so that if you had questions about what a cost allocation plan is, or the fee study, that we could do that and also inform the public while we're doing this. So an overview of what I'm going to quickly go over is the purpose of a cost allocation plan, the purpose of a fee study, the process we went through to get here, and then we are recommending this agreement tonight. So a cost allocation plan is basically, it's a documented method for dividing an organization's share of costs. And a really great example is we have an enterprise fund, we have the water fund. And so the general fund is allowed to apply costs to the water fund because the water fund is a business. It's supposed to stand on its own. And so if it were a standalone business, it would have a town manager, a CEO. It would have a finance director. It would have an HR director. It would have an accountant, right? Because our water fund is part of this organization, we are allowed to charge the water fund for some of those services as appropriate to the water fund, right? And so right now we do a lump sum amount. This cost allocation plan is going to make it very specific. So we're going to know exactly what we can charge the water fund. The other part that's very important is for state and federal grants. We have a significant amount of grants for Jackson Creek Parkway, as we've talked about. And so we do have the opportunity to get administrative overhead costs. To have a cost allocation plan, we need that to prove the accurate costs of overseeing a grant, those kinds of grants. And so it's very important that we have this cost allocation plan in place. And the idea of having a third party do it, 1, they're subject matter experts, and 2, it's a neutral third party. And so it's defensible to any organization, any audit of how our costs are allocated. And then it's just this accurate, right? And as I mentioned, to the water fund, we want to make sure that we're accurately applying costs to the water fund from the general fund. The purpose of the fee study, so user fees and charges are payments for voluntary purchased publicly provided services that benefit specific individuals. Park fees, permit fees, anything that an individual will come in. It's not a general tax that everyone pays. It's basically a user fee or a charge for something you're specifically getting from your local government. And fee revenue is used by the town to supplement our other sources of revenue and to be able to provide the services to our community. So these fees are one of our ways to be able to fund the services that we're providing. If you recall in the financial policies that you adopted a couple months ago, one of the things was to be sure that we're updating our fee schedules. And so the last time we did this was 2016. And so we're a little bit behind. And so this is what our team with the rest of the departments will be endeavoring on, is working on this cost allocation plan as well as a fee study. And so through a recruitment process, we issued an RFP. We had a committee review the proposals that came in. We have selected Wildan and are recommending them for a contract. This will be another workload. So we'll be providing them with data, we'll be providing them with operational information. They will develop a cost allocation model that we will keep. So we then can update that annually. So that's very important. It won't be proprietary to them, and we won't owe them anything in years to come. It'll be our cost allocation plan. The fee study will come to you. And it's very important that you understand your role in that, because the level of fees is a policy decision. The cost allocation study and the cost allocation plan are an operational component of what we do. The fee study is where the council can determine your level of fees. Do you want to go to full cost recovery? Or do you want to ratchet that down for certain reasons that you might have? And so we will be bringing the fee study back to you for your decision. The fee study will also remain with the town, and we will update those annually through the budget process. And so we're requesting that you approve the agreement for a not to exceed amount. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions, comments from the council?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Has there been an allocation process previously?
Yes and no. For the water fund, there was a lump sum amount that was estimated. So every year, the water fund is providing money back to the general fund to cover the costs that I talked about, those administrative costs. But it's not an analysis. It's an estimated amount. And then what was the second half of your question?
Oh, has it been done before? You were anticipating my second question.
I am.
Well done.
Okay.
You threw her off. She's like, I have a second question.
And actually, there was one. Is the water fund the only place where allocation happens?
No, and so there's other things that the finance staff has determined can be allocated, things like the copier. There's sort of administrative things that get allocated to each of the departments. And we have our own, it's fairly small, but we allocate those costs out. So that's how we've been doing it. And this will be much more legitimate. And again, for the grants especially, that we're able to defend and be able to receive those monies as part of a grant.
Well done. Thank you.
So things like IT services will be chopped up and there'll be costs allocated from the police for IT services, that's what I'm used to, is the other departments feeding in.
Yes.
And paying for those things.
I'm used to that too.
But
We're doing a lot of change. And so we're going to wait till 2027 to do that. So that's an internal service fund.
Okay.
And so right now, IT is still its own department budget. And we actually talked about that today at the kickoff. So when you have a department like IT and other departments want things that are IT, the IT budget goes up, right? And then council says, Mr. IT director, why is your IT budget going up so much? Well, it's fed by the other departments. And so a better allocation of that would be that each department then is allocated the cost of the IT department. We're going to get to that next year.
Cannot wait. Sorry, Will. Any other questions, comments? What about from our,
I have a comment. So I just want to say that, I'm congratulating your department once again. Between you and our new town manager and our town attorney and the staff, have taken this town from much lower level into like, we're like a real town now. And I appreciate that a lot. I mean, this information helps us and just operating on a professional level is what we should have always been doing. So thank you for doing this.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Oh, and the police in the back.
Yeah. I do have a quick question on the fees. So you mentioned that the fees, this is also a fee study, right?
Correct.
And the last one was done in 2016.
Correct.
So I'm going to guess that there's going to be a bit of a jump on the fees. And if I'm getting ahead of myself, go ahead and step on me. But is the intent to then roll the fees to where they need to be, or is it going to be they need to be here, so we're going to put them here? What's the pre-study thought process?
So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you the full cost recovery of every service we're providing. And that's then becomes your policy decision. So let's say, I don't know, renting a park space or a bench in the park turns out to be $50 as a full cost recovery. And the council says, no way. We want it. That's not okay. We'll lower that to 20. That's your policy decision. So that's what we're going to be bringing to you, full cost recovery, so you know what it costs. And then you can look at those fees and decide some, if any, you'd like to bring down. And that's your policy decision.
A quick question. What is the timeline for this? Like, how quickly can it?
We're hoping that the fees can be ready. The cost allocation plan, we're going to start in July. It takes about 90 days. And then it'll overlap with the beginning of the study for the fee schedule. We're hoping by October, November. So we probably won't be able to include fee increases in the budget that you adopt in November, but we could bring those to you by January, February. We can adopt them, and then we can do the same thing. We'll do a mid-year amended budget, and we'll include that new revenue in the 26 budget.
Okay. And then, so when they provide this service for 39K, is there anything, can we go back to them? Is there any additional services that we could purchase, or what is this, is whatever we're purchasing encompassing what we need?
Yes, so we'll have both the cost allocation plan model, that'll be ours. And then we'll also have the fee study model so that we can go back and update. They will be there to answer questions and assist if we need. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
not to exceed?
I was listening.
Unless you come back and ask for an amendment to the,
Correct.
right, of course. Yeah, if there's more stuff that we need.
Yep.
Okay, questions, comments, anything else? Thank you very much for that presentation. Looking forward to seeing updated fees from 9 years ago. It's probably going to be interesting. I'll look for a motion from the council if there's no other questions or comments.
Make a motion. Make a motion to approve resolution number 40-2025, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Wilden Financial Services for consultant services to conduct cost allocation plan and fee study.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Simpson. Has everybody voted?
No.
You are not on the voting tab.
Yeah, it's jumping.
The one that's blinking.
There. Jeez, it kept jumping.
It's jumping between tabs.
Because you have two of the same tab open. Okay, that motion passes 7-0.
We got more votes now.
We have more,
Yeah.
but we have, right. Okay, is it, it's hot up in here. Did you do that, Chad, when you joined the council? Or is Verigy messing with our AC system?
Yay, because it's usually freezing in here.
All right. You're doing the next one too?
Yep.
Okay, so 41-2025, authorizing agreement with Wilden Financial to do a water rate study.
Mhm. Here I am again. So again, this normally would have been on consent calendar, but wanted the opportunity to share with you what we're doing. The purpose of a rate study and a process for our rate study, and then we're recommending an agreement to the council. So the purpose of a rate study is a financial analysis that projects future revenue and expenses for a water utility. So water rates are not taxes, and that's why we refer to them as rates. We never refer to anything related to the water system as a tax. It's a rate because it's an enterprise fund, and so those who are receiving these services are paying a rate for the water that they receive. And so
Right,
this
we're
is
not seeing your presentation. It's, I know it's in the packet because I have the water study rate agreement in the packet,
Yup,
but it's not on the screen.
it's coming. It's coming. All right. Get off of that. Next. Yes, next, please. Roll her up. Next one after that. So that's where I was. The purpose of a water rate study, financial analysis that projects the future revenue and expenses for a water utility. And so the purpose, the outcome should be to determine if revenue is sufficient to cover operating costs, maintenance, capital improvements, and debt service. So again, the water fund is an enterprise fund, and it should cover everything that it needs. The rate should cover everything that the water fund needs today, tomorrow, and in the future, so that we can plan those capital needs and the maintenance for our water system. And so the rate should cover all of that. Next. The process. So again, we went through the RFP process. We had a committee that reviewed the proposals. The committee selected Wildan. We again will be working closely with Wildan to provide them a financial and operational data. So this is another heavy lift for the team, especially the water staff and public works. And so they will basically conduct a cost of service analysis. So they will look at what does it cost to deliver this service, and for future maintenance, for current maintenance, for future capital projects, they will determine all of that. And then we will come to you again with rates, and we will come to you with the full cost recovery, full cost of providing that service. And then it'll be the policy decision of the council to determine whether that's a rate that you like, don't like, some, all. That'll be a discussion for you, but that's where your decision making comes in. Again, the model that they'll create will remain with us. And so then we can annually update that model for each budget cycle. So we're making sure that we're covering our costs. And so that will be the role of the council, is to determine where you want your water rates to come in. And so again, I'm asking for approval of the agreement of a not to exceed amount. And happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council on this agreement? None? Well, thank you again. What? Yeah, how often will this be updated?
It'll be updated. Well, so the rates will be, we'll update it annually. And so we can determine whether the rates should go up annually. It's something we can bring to you. So again, it's been, I think, 5 years since the water rates have been increased. And so that's something that we want to make sure we're staying current with the cost of delivering the water to our community.
So this will have an inflation adjuster in it or something to that effect?
It can. So the model will allow us, so let's say we remove a position or we add a position or we add something or whatever it may be, that can all be then put into the model and then we can determine what the appropriate rates are.
Okay, thank you.
Question, yes. The two models from before and this model, I'm assuming, we know what that does, that Wilden will give us whatever updates occur to that model from a software perspective on an annual basis, and we'll pay them for that, correct?
It's in Excel.
Oh, cool.
So
Thank you.
we're good to go. Yep.
Made her night. What? Right. Okay. No other questions, comments? Promotion?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 41, 2025, approving an agreement with Wilden Financial Services in the not to exceed amount of $37,260 for consultant services for a water rate study.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Simpson? That motion passes 7-0. Okay, next up, we have a public hearing item on Resolution 43, 2025. This is a resolution setting forth findings of fact and conclusions regarding the Old Denver Road annexation. Mr. Ungulator. I have one question right out the gate. No. What happens if they rename this road? Do we have to go through this whole thing again? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Right, that's the point.
I'll shave my head.
You'll shave. Oh.
Yeah.
Are you, okay, that's on record. Will, that's
If you
recorded,
change
right?
the name of the road, if you change the name of the road, I will shave my head.
Excellent.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight, what we're conducting a public hearing for the annexation of a portion of Old Denver Road. This is just the right of way of Old Denver Road. It's about approximately 12.9 acres of El Paso County public right of way containing Old Denver Road from West Baptist Road north to the Town of Monuments corporate limits just south of Woodfield Drive. You've had a petition before you already. On April 8th, a petition was filed to the town clerk and followed by a resolution that you heard and approved, Resolution 25, 2025, a resolution initiating the annexation proceedings, and it found that the petition to be in substantial compliance with state law. This was all done on April 21st, 2025. Tonight, you're conducting a public hearing in consideration of a resolution and ordinance, a resolution specifically for the substantial, calling out that this plat of annexation is in substantial compliance, or a substantial compliance resolution setting forth findings of fact and conclusions regarding the Old Denver Road annexation. Notice was provided in accordance with the State Annexation Act. We published in the Gazette for 4 consecutive weeks. The dates are posted in the memo in your packet. We also mailed to the owners of the property within 500 feet of the annexation, to the county attorney, and representatives of any underlying special districts or school districts so that they were aware we were going through this annexation. Tonight, my job is to kind of break down and show you that this annexation is in fact in substantial compliance with the requirements. So I'm going to list out a bunch of things that the state act challenges. This is a stranger plat in that it's just the right of way. And I want to add another piece to this is that this right of way is something that the town already maintains. So this is just legitimizing the maintenance and ownership of that right of way and brings it into our corporate limits. So of the items that this plat of annexation is required, we need to show that it's 1/6 boundary contiguity, which it is. It's no more than 3 miles. It's actually within our 3-mile annexation plan, and it's adjacent to our town. It is a community interest, a community of interest. We want this road in the town. It's an urban area. It integrates the road into our boundaries in our community. The landowners consent, and I'll kind of elaborate that a little bit later. We will not attach property from the school district. Nothing changes. There's been no petition for annexation election. There are no additional terms to this. The petition has been signed by all property owners. Again, it's right away. It's within our 3-mile plan. And the last item is that there's a requirement for an annexation impact report. The El Paso County's has approved by resolution. And now I can't. I'll do it from there. On May 20th, 2025, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County unanimously approved Resolution 25-138, which is a resolution approving a waiver of the annexation impact report of Old Denver Highway. And they did that with great cooperation and help. So I appreciate the county commissioners for doing that so quickly and actively. So with that, this is a public hearing, so we want to make sure that we ask for public comment for our annexation, and then when you are able to close the public hearing portion, I'd be glad to close this portion of the meeting.
Great. Thanks for making sure I do a public hearing.
We don't want to do this again.
As you heard the planning director say, this is a public hearing. So we will open it up for comment for those here that would like to speak for or against the town annexing its own road. Is there anybody here who would like to speak? Will, is there anybody online that would like to speak? Okay, we will close the public hearing and bring it back for the council to ask questions or comments to Mr. Ungerleider.
Well, I would like to say that, well, I would like to make the comment that this is one singular annexation and no geometric gymnastics were done to get to this road. There's no triangles, there's no, because we have contiguity along the whole entire side, right? Okay, I just wanted to.
Are you referencing something in particular?
No, I just was making that comment that it's one singular annexation.
I do have one question. What would be a downside of not annexing? What would be if for whatever reason, if we decide not to, what's the downside?
I think we're going to be talking about this more as we're going through our comprehensive plan, but it's always good to have clean boundaries, especially as you're talking about future development projects and future developments being proposed outside of our boundaries. So this will give us a nice straight edge along there. It has helped me to identify some things that I might be bringing back to you once the comprehensive plan is near complete or completed.
We actually have a physical deed for this property too, right? Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and we've been maintaining it this whole time. I know we did some repaving over some period of time ago.
Yeah, I was just checking with Public Works Director just to make sure I wasn't making things up in dreams, but no, we do take care of the roads. So
Okay,
this is a good exercise in just trying to clean up our boundaries.
sure,
We'll be back in with a couple others just like this in the near future.
right. Okay.
Dan, why didn't
Thank
we
you.
do this sooner? I mean, how long has it? I mean, I'm not blaming you. I'm just curious because it seems,
Well, it is rather intensive. Any annexation is intensive. We did spend money on the plat of annexation. And you have to specifically make it a priority to go through this process. I'm actually thankful that this was the first one I got to do here. So that way the next one will be, I'll be more knowledgeable and I'll get the next one done, hopefully just as easily. We have a lot of things that we're doing differently now as we're moving forward. And I'm hoping that we'll continue to clean and improve the community through our actions.
yeah.
I'll poke the bear. Since we're going to be annexing our own right of way, will any wildlife like beavers be harmed in the process? No?
No, there will be no wildlife harmed in this process right now.
Okay. Jumping my son, they're all over the place, right? Treble, jumping mouse. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? It's funny or otherwise about this resolution? Okay, then, if none, then I will look for a motion for this resolution.
I'll make a motion to distracted. This is 43/2025, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 43/2025, a resolution setting forth findings of fact and conclusions regarding the Old Denver Road annexation.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Simpson. That motion passes 7-0. Believe we have an ordinance of similar, right? Ordinance 11/2025, annexing certain lands known as the Old Denver Road annexation to the town of Monument, Colorado.
That's correct. So this is the second step of a two-step process. The first one was just showing that the plat of annexation was in substantial compliance with the State Plat Act. The second piece is actually annexing that property. This is a public hearing, so because it's an ordinance, but we'll be asking you to approve an ordinance annexing Old Denver Road, or ordinance number 11/2025.
Okay, well, it's public hearing, right? So we have to reopen this for the folks here, if they want to speak for or against this final step of the annexation of this road that already belongs to us. Is there anybody here who would like to speak for or against the annexation? Will, anybody online? Okay, then we will close the public hearing item and bring it back to the council for further discussion, motions, questions, comments.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 11/2025, an ordinance annexing certain lands known as the Old Denver Road annexation to the town of Monument, Colorado.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Simpson. That motion passes 7-0. Probably one of the easiest annexations we've ever gone through.
Probably one of the easier annexations northern El Paso County has ever been.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Cole for him and his team's assistance on this. It was easy, but it is a complex process. There's lots of room for error and mistakes. So I wanted to just thank Mr. Cole, and then hopefully the next one will be nice and smooth like this one. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now own our own road. We owned it anyway, right?
Yeah, but
It's just in monument now.
All right, now it's officially in monument. Next up, public comments for items not on the agenda. Individuals attending in person may raise their hand to indicate their desire to comment. Individuals attending via Teams may raise their hand digitally to comment via connected devices. Please lower your hand when finished with your comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. For those that are coming up to comment, please make sure you sign in on the podium. Anybody here would like to make public comment? No? Will we have anybody online that would like to make public comment? Okay. Commissioner Weissong.
I just wanted to announce that we will be having what we're calling a cafe with the commissioner at Wesley Owens Coffee Shop on Saturday from 9:30 to 11. It's basically an open forum. Anyone that hasn't had a chance to meet me or haven't had any interaction with Commissioner Williams will both be there just to talk about whatever's on anyone's mind. And just as a point of reference, the Board of Commissioners did vote 5-0 to waive the impact report for your road.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Weissong.
Please pass on our thank yous to the rest. That when you have your meeting tomorrow, please let them know we appreciate it. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none. I asked, Will said no hands. Town manager's favorite time of the night?
Just one item for you tonight. Oh, but I have a whole section next.
It's in 16.
One
16
item
parts.
in 69 parts. Great, thanks.
The Pikes Peak Outdoor Recreation Alliance has created a new plan, and they would like to come and present that to the council and at a future date. And I wanted to see if you are all right with that.
What do they do?
They did a new plan. They serve 3 different counties, and so they kind of put together an entire 3-county plan for outdoor recreation, sustainability, environmental issues, usage issues, those kind of things.
Yeah. Whatever timing you want.
I'm looking at late July, probably, or early August, which is not ideal for them, but I think next meeting's a little too full, but we'll take a look at that tomorrow.
Okay. Any other items?
Not for that particular section.
Oh, I don't think you have any more sections.
One more section.
We do have the town manager report, which, by the way, is so well done. And I really, really appreciate that you guys, the quality of this report is getting better and better. So kudos to the staff and their contributions to it. And
If it's okay with council, I'd like to just highlight a few of the items from this month's report, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to also say thank you to staff. They are doing a really great job, not only on this report, but the work that they're actually doing that creates the report. Everybody's really stepping up and doing an amazing job for this community, and I appreciate all of their hard work. I also appreciate council being so engaged. We have a lot going on right now, so I appreciate you showing up to all of our events,
working really hard on our strategic planning, our budget. I just really appreciate the engagement that council is doing right now. And I especially appreciate the support that you guys have given me as the interim and now the permanent town manager. So thank you. As we have already talked about, this is the kickoff to our summer season and our events. So we already have had a successful cleanup day and our Memorial Day ceremony that Portia organizes. Ray participated in the first art hop of the season with the Monument 2040 engagement and outreach with the community. We're continuing to work with Mr. Cole's office on updating the town code, and Laura's team is working on records management system and implementing good record management practice, as well as trying to implement software that will help us with that. Finance is working on the amended 2025 budget, so they already brought that to you with the goal to implement a realistic and achievable budget. And then Steve Murray also presented to the Colorado Tax Auditors Coalition, and Laura Young will be presenting to them as well. So I think that's getting not only them good experience, but we're showing people how we're doing great things here in our community. Emily completed the compensation and pay equity study, and that will provide a strong structure for us as we look to retain and recruit new members to the organization. We welcomed Haile Leesberg, and I'm sorry if I mess these names up, as a police officer, Amy Stallnaker as a police records specialist, and several seasonal positions for the summer. The police department participated in a regional multi-agency DUI blitz in May. Tour de Shield 616 came through Monument on a multi-day ride honoring Golden's fallen officer Evan Dunn. And Public Works is working on several projects, including stormwater improvements, and they were able to complete a pedestrian crossing over the railroad at 2nd Street, which is a personal favorite win for me. Our facilities team has begun working with Verigy on our energy savings project on buildings across the town, starting with the new RTUs at the 259 Beacon Lite Rd building. And they've already begun replacing some of the lights at the other building and this building as well. And they work to create a break room for the 2nd floor of this building, which we've needed for many, many years. So town staff appreciate that work. Parks has been really busy with planting all of the summer flowers, a lot of other summer projects. They built a new retaining wall at the cemetery and just ensuring every week that the parks and restrooms are all ready for our events. The streets department has also been working on many projects, including repairs to roads and making parking lots at our parks accessible. So a lot of work there. And our water department responded to a major water break at Cynthia's and Mitchell and have completed several maintenance items on our water system. So again, I just want to highlight some of the excellent work that our staff is doing and thank council for supporting staff in these projects. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Somehow 11, I just noticed this, we probably should have modified the agenda. 11 and 12 are backwards. Is that a problem, Mr. Cole? Okay, someone amend.
You can amend it
I'm
right now.
Making a motion to amend the agenda to move the executive session to number 11 and adjournment number 12.
Second.
I made a motion. Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, we'll adjourn and there'll be no executive session. Yes, we need to vote. Yeah, we're waiting. She's probably writing it up. Maybe some no. They're good, right? Don't vote no. Chronic seconded.
I did.
Okay, council comments is next. Any members of the council have anything they would like to say,
Yes,
sting?
I just would like to make a public statement about my disappointment with the number of people who applied for a position that was an appointment. You didn't have to run for it. You didn't have to campaign. You didn't have to generate any kind of revenue to be able to do that. This was an appointment. Personally, this is not anything against Mr. Smith, but it's disheartening and disappointing to see that people are not stepping up to fill the vacancies that matter to everybody here in the monument area. So that's just I firmly believe, and I can be shot down in a heartbeat, but I believe that it's possible that perhaps we could have garnered some additional interest had these positions been paid positions. And I will leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any comments they would like to make from the council?
Yeah.
How about, well, I was,
Okay, let the Boy Scouts go.
yeah, would you like to say anything? This is now your chance to press the button and speak up if you'd like to.
This has been fun.
So what you're saying is you're gonna come back again?
Sure.
Why you're up there? What is this providing?
This is providing me the communications merit badge.
Good.
Nice. Okay, I have a statement that I want to make, and I want some input from you guys, maybe even the town attorney on this. So in addition to being elected official, I'm a citizen of this community, and I care about the community quite a bit. And good government is important to me, and transparency and advocating for residents is important to me. And the property on Beacon Light and County Line first came to us for an annexation for multifamily. And we had a hearing and we turned it down based mostly, there were several reasons, but mostly because the adjacent neighbors came out and spoke to us about the impact that it would be to them. And to me, it didn't fit with the character of the neighborhood. Now there is a way more intense use being proposed up there. And because we are in the positions that we are in with an adjacent municipality, we are mainly, the suggestion is to remain silent. But yet I advocated for the neighborhood that was there, and it's puts me in a difficult position because this is not my nature. My nature is to stand up and help the people who are being basically run over by egregious development. And that being said, a reporter reached out to me and wanted me to make some comments. I have not responded. Basically, it has to do with the history that, you know, how it came through Monument originally and our position on it and things like that. But when Monument Ridge East was here, I was very vocal about it. I testified, Mayor LaKine testified at the county level, but now this is seems to be a different position that we're put in. And I don't know where the lines begin and end on this. So I'm asking for some guidance from council, from Mr. Cole on, you know, how best to handle this. Because again, I care about these people that are up there and I don't want to let them go unnoticed.
Mr. Fuller, do you have any? I mean, I knew this was coming. I asked Mayor Pro Tem King to make sure that the council was aware that there's potential for him to be speaking to a journalist. And I, for one, believe he should. He's been active and he's been engaged. And I think we all believe, I think we all advocate for those who have not had the best representation, because partly they can't be, and other elected officials have chosen to ignore them. But I think as a council, we should speak up, and there's an opportunity for someone to represent us that's well-spoken and can handle the interview from this publication. So I think Mr. King is looking for some support from us.
Or criticism,
Or
or don't do it, or whatever it is. But this feeling like I'm in this limbo state where, I don't feel like I can say anything. And I'm kind of looking for some direction. So you get the final say, obviously.
No, I don't get the final say.
Well,
You guys get the final say. My input on any issue when it comes to individual council people speaking out is that if you're intending to speak for the council, you need to bring it to the council and develop what the position is and make sure that everybody's clear and get that delegated authority before you speak on behalf of town council. If you're out speaking on your own, then you just need to be really clear about that. This issue or any issue, I think that's kind of my consistent advice to you. And it really reflects the fact that no one person sets the policy and the direction and the positions of council. You have to do that as a group at a public meeting. So if you want to authorize Mr. King to speak on this issue, I'm fine with that. You just need to make sure what the position of council is and be clear with him and what his delegated authority is on what he's to say. So that's the one point. The second point I would make is, in dealing with any other local government that is close by, whether they're your current partner or they're not, and they could be your future partner, you just want to do those things in a well thought out way. And there's lots of different considerations in what you do and what you say and what direction you might give someone to, and authorizing them to speak for council. But I think that, that just really needs to be well thought out, and really have a long-term view in mind, not just the short term. And I'm not saying that the land use application and annexation, that's a short-term consideration, but you just want to, if that's the issue, then think about it, not just in terms of that decision, but how you want to get along with, local government that might be a partner in the future, or you might want to partner with in the future, so that it's done in a way to preserve that potential.
So in this particular instance, and this is a bigger picture thing, but for today, with this particular instance, it would be the only intention that I had was to talk about public released information on the process that we went through, and not to offer an opinion or not to take a position from the council, since we haven't officially established one. It would just be the history that was there at the time. That on this particular instance. Now, moving forward, we might take an official position and things would be different.
Well, and even speaking and kind of reflecting on that history, if you want to do that as a representative of council, I think you need to ask council if you can do that.
Sure,
If,
sure.
if you're
for sure.
just saying, I'm Steve King, I'm Mayor Pro Tem, I know some things about this. I'm not speaking for council, but here's what I know. That's kind of in a different realm.
That would be the tack I would take regardless of the direction here, because I don't want to put everybody on the spot. It would be just from a historical perspective on this particular instance, but moving forward, we might change that.
So what I know is remembering about that presentation and that we tried to negotiate and ask, would they be willing and would they consider? We asked those questions to them and they abruptly walked out. And then I did speak up. You guys were at the El Paso County meeting in person, which I appreciate, and you spoke up. You spoke on behalf of the town. I waited on the phone when I was sitting in the middle of the airfield doing operations when I finally got my chance to speak as well. So it's not like we haven't, but I think it's important that we represent the town, and we've talked, and we've had many people come here and voice their concern and their opinion to us in public comment. And I think we're all in lockstep about how we feel, how this progressed to the point it is now. I've responded to over 200 emails that have been sent to me individually. I just didn't want to bother CCing everybody because mine was getting flooded in. So we're to the situation we're at now, and we have spoken up at one of our council meetings in the recent past about how we felt. And I think we all agreed. We talked about communicating a letter to the trustees of the other town, voicing our concerns in the letter. And then I think we determined to hold off. And as I was saying in my emails, we're keeping our powder dry, if you will, because we're waiting to see what happens through that process, because it's been a rocky process that they've had. So I am 100% for Steve giving the history, because in addition, all that is public information that has been recorded, and anyone can go back and listen to that tape. Even the news media can pick apart that, and they can hear clearly what we asked them and we tried to negotiate for. So I'm all for if someone's reaching out, and I don't think anyone could speak better than Steve and his knowledge on and his perspective. So I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
Excuse me, two things. First of all, yes, I agree completely with putting forth the history as a single voice. The council should speak as one voice, and I think we have. I agree with you, Councilman Kimball. Secondly, we have, and whether we realize it and admit it or not, we represent people that don't vote for us. And a lot of those people are the ones that have come to us and said, help. Yeah. And I say, yeah, let's keep doing that, because I think it's voices heard and it's people represented. And I'm all for it, Steve.
Well, there you go. How about it?
Real quick, I just want to kind of echo what Ken and Laura both said as well. And Steve, you already know this. We started, and really the offers of concessions at Planning Commission. So I'll put a little plug in for Planning Commission, because we were also looking out for, again, people that can't vote for us. So I think it's important, and you're probably the central base of knowledge when it comes to that annexation during that time. I'd be 100% behind you.
Thank you. Well, we're all residents of Tri-Lakes, really.
Right.
I mean, it would be a reasonable sized city if we were all one city. Yeah, it affects everyone that's here, and especially affects the people that will live right there. So I just want to give them a voice.
Steve, excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, King, did you get a list of questions ahead of time, or is this like a sit down? Will you know what questions they're going to
I
ask?
have
you?
an idea what they are, but I would clarify those and I would clarify what I can speak about, which would be just the history of it at this point. You know, if it goes into something else later, it goes into something else later, but I'd rather have an official position from council before we start saying anything more than that.
I'm fine with it. Thank you for bringing it up.
Sure. Thanks.
When you're famous and on TV,
I'm not going on TV.
We can say we know one.
same here. All right, any other council comments? All right, we have come to the part of the meeting where we will have an executive session. We will be asking our audience members and guest Boy Scouts, guest council members, and those that are not part of this topic to leave the council chambers. So I will move to go into executive session pursuant to 24-64024B Colorado Revised Statute for a conference with the town attorney to receive legal advice on specific legal questions regarding Triview Metro District. And we will adjourn afterwards.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.